Stadium. What a beautiful day and a great atmosphere as the 6th-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks host the USC Trojans in the middle game of a 3-game set. And welcome to our broadcast booth. I'm Brett Dolden with former Arkansas All-American Troy Eklund. Troy, we were anxious to see how the Hogs would play yesterday after overwhelming Dayton Flyers in the middle of the week, but it was a clean game and a good game and a 4-0 win.
Yeah, they played really well. Blaine Knight didn't have his A game, but he battled through it. Still 6 scoreless innings for the right-hander.
6 scoreless innings indeed. He was outstanding, but offensively, the Hogs got it going early.
They really did. Luke Bonfield with 2 outs and a runner on with a 2-run homer over the left center field wall. And he just continues to do a great job in that DH role. And then the freshman phenom, Heston Kjerstad, with the runner on second, base hit to right field, scoring Jax Biggers.
Now Luke Bonfield would end up with 3 of the 4 RBIs in the game. Just put this ball in play, bobbled a bit at third base, and would score Cole, making it 4-0. And the Hogs had their shutout. You see what they did with 8 hits. Still trying to get more base hits with runners in scoring position, but you can't find much fault in those numbers.
No, they're getting the job done. They kind of taking care of business yesterday, but you might see those bats really break out today.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the USC Trojans. 7-2 on the year. It's Sable, Newtbar, Acosta, Paulson, Perez, Armenta, and Perez, and we were anxious to see if he would be in the lineup today.
Yeah, Perez got hit on the wrist by a pitch from Blaine Knight. Got taken out of the ball game, but tough kid. He's battling back. It's still a little tender with his swing and his throw.
And the lineup will be facing Isaiah Campbell, making his 3rd start of the season.
Yeah, you see Isaiah Campbell really kind of settling in now. He's got a big power arm. He'll be in the low to mid 90s with that fastball. Throws with a lot of down angle.
See the scouting report on Isaiah. Fastball in the mid 90s. And the angle on the pitch is something that I'm sure we'll be discussing today. It is a 64-degree afternoon in Fayetteville as Blake Sable, the catcher, steps in and swings at the first pitch, lifts it into left center field. Kjerstad there, 1 pitch, 1 out, and a good beginning.
It's the second time in 2 days that the Trojans have come out swinging on first pitch fly balls on both times.
Number 11, Lars Newtbar.
So Campbell, with 9 innings of work this year, struck out 14, giving up just 2 earned runs. He pitched last Saturday in what was an impressive game for the Hogs. They ended up defeating San Diego State 5-2, but Campbell was not part of the decision. And here's Lars Newtbar, the left fielder. Hitting at just .207. He was the leadoff hitter yesterday, went 0 for 4. Even though USC had 7 hits, they weren't able to push across a run against Blaine Knight or Jackson Rutledge. There's Jackson. You can tell it's an off day. The Fig Newtons are coming out.
It's got to stay hydrated. Just carry around your own gallon of water with you.
Strike call to Newtbar.
I guess when you're 6'8", it takes a lot of water, doesn't it?
You have to hydrate a little more often than the regular normal-sized humans. It's amazing what the freshmen have done this week. Even Luke Bonfield, after the game yesterday, Troy said he's been around freshmen. They come in timid. He said this group, in addition to having all the accolades, they've been very confident, and we've seen that with the pitchers all week long.
And the pitchers were great in the 2 midweek games against Dayton. They had 5 freshmen ran out there. Not 1 earned run was given up in those 2 games.
Wave and a miss. Newtbar carved up for the 2nd out of the inning. Hogs defensively have a very similar looking lineup of Kjerstad, Fletcher, and Cole in their outfield. Martin and Biggers on the left side of the diamond. Shaddy at second base. McFarland getting the start at first base. Cook behind the plate. And McFarland starting because USC throwing the left-hander.
Yeah, DVH trying to get an extra right-handed bat into the lineup. Jordan McFarland is going to be that guy. He's really kind of breaking out his sophomore season. You feel him is a little more comfortable to plate than he was as a freshman.
Here's Matthew Acosta, the center fielder. He's hitting .237. See the home run, 8 knocked in. It's a USC team that had won 7 straight games before yesterday. Shaddy, a nice play, and throws out Acosta to end the inning. Good effort by Shaddy. Perfect first for Campbell. Here come the Hogs and their bats. Good start for Arkansas. Take a look at the batting lineup for the Hogs. See Biggers leading off. He'll be followed by Colden Kerstad. Bonfield, the DH and cleanup hitter. Cook catching and batting 5th. McFarland getting the start at first base. Fletcher moved down to the 7th spot. Then it's Shaddy and Martin rounding out the starting 9. They will be facing this left-hander for USC, Quentin Longree. He's pitched in 9 innings so far this season.
Well, I think that's what you're going to see Arkansas face. If any team's got a left-hander, they're going to throw it against the Hogs. They're very heavy left-handed bats, and Longree's going to be in the low to mid 90s. His changeup is really good, and he'll throw that slider, especially to those left-handed batters.
Yesterday, the USC starter Chris Clark did not strike out a Hog in his 6 innings of work. Put a lot of balls in play. Here's Biggers, looks at a good fastball for a strike to start the bottom of the first inning. Jack scored a pair of runs yesterday, got a hit, stole 2 bases, and made 2 fine plays at shortstop. Longree's got some calves on him. Talk about a pitcher using lower body strength.
He's not afraid to go right at these Arkansas hitters already. 1-1 right down the pipe. Jack's just a little bit late on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Ten hits for Jack so far in this season. Watch that one the entire way, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Outfield playing Biggers around the other way. Over, but
I'm not really sure.
What happened?
Looked like a pretty good pitch.
He didn't call it a strike. Was the scoreboard off?
Yeah, it was. It was 2-2 on that last pitch. Pretty good fastball right there. I think it's just down in the zone just a bit.
Here's a payoff. Liner to left. Doesn't matter. Base hit by Biggers. See how USC lines them up defensively. Newbar, Acosta, and Shockey in their outfield are meant to start at third, then went to second yesterday. Bouchard, the shortstop. Perez is in the lineup at second. Paulson at first. Sable behind the plate. Longree on the mound. We'll be curious to see if Perez has to make some throws early in the game, how that hand responds after being knocked out of the game yesterday with a hit by pitch.
He made some pretty ginger throws around the diamond on infield. So you can tell he can't really snap that wrist and get much on a throw.
See it wrapped up, in fact. It's rare to see a throwing hand wrapped up. Did a pretty good shot of that one. Biggers with 2 stolen bases yesterday, is 3 on the year. And there you see the wrap, Troy. And that can't be comfortable just getting the feel of the baseball if you have to cut one loose.
Yeah, there's not much flexibility in that wrist. And I guarantee that's a tough kid playing through the pain. But they already lost one middle infielder with a hit by pitch to the hand, so they can't afford to have him out as well.
And not just any middle infielder. Ben Ramirez, a talented shortstop. Cole smashes one to third, picked up by Armenta, and then Perez. Did he get the out? Yes. Biggers came back to the bag, but second base umpire Brandon Bennett called the force. So Perez forced into duty right away, and that wrap is all messed up.
Well, just a ball hit right in the button by Cole, and you can see what a great job Perez does just to come up with that ball right there.
Look at the wrap already. He's got Palm Stadium mud all over it. The ball will find you early when you're not 100%. Heston Kjerstad steps in with an average of .424 and 12 RBIs. Takes a strike at the belt. He went 1 for 4 with a ribby yesterday, and I guess that's an off day when you're Heston Kjerstad.
Yeah, he's slipping right there. He hit a ball on, I believe it was Thursday, that the right fielder didn't even move and didn't even turn around. Estimated about 425 feet.
The wind is blowing in today. Biggers takes off, and he was spinning his wheels in that moist dirt. Beg your pardon, Cole was off and running with that pitch, but he didn't seem to get the great break right away. Feels watered down before the game. Had all he could do to maintain his footing.
Surprised he didn't go out there and kind of dig in that mud a little bit. You wonder if he's going to try to lead off a little deeper and get out of that same track. It looked a little more wet than the rest of it. No, he's going to stay in that same spot.
2 strikes, the count to Kjerstad. Cole's running again, swing and a miss, and the throw nearly went into center field. Bouchard had to go get it, and we have not seen a throw that's been close from the USC catchers in this series. Look at the mud on Cole.
Yeah, they really soaked this field down. Kjerstad just misses that ball down, but that throw's not even close. And you're right, Arkansas is not a team that does a lot of running, but that's the second stolen base I think they've had so far in this series. And you might see them really kind of test the catcher from USC just a little bit more.
That uniform's going to need some extra attention after the game. Actually had 3 stolen bases yesterday and 1 today. It was Murphy behind the plate for the Trojans Friday afternoon. Sable getting the start today. But the lefty Longery did strike out Kjerstad. So here's Luke Bonfield. Hit a 2-out homer in the first on a 2-seamer yesterday. Takes one off the corner. I think the one thing Dave Van Horn liked about Bonfield, you'll take 2-out RBIs any day of the week and home runs. But he liked the fact he came against a right-handed pitcher from that cleanup spot, considering all the lefties. If your righties hit the righties, it'll certainly go a long ways when you know your lefties are probably going to fare well against them. Longery, a very simple delivery, just picks up that leg barely on a quick slide step and then got the low strike to Bonfield. There's nothing complicated about his windup, to say the least, from the stretch.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. A lot of times you'll see a pitcher use that slide step with a runner on first base to try to get that ball delivered to home a little quicker, but kind of go back to their normal movement with the runner on second. But he's going to keep that same technique.
Doesn't raise that leg very much at all. Watch here as he gets ready to pitch. I mean, that's as simple as you can be. You're almost wondering if you're not creating enough power.
I was just thinking, it's kind of like a hitter not loading up on the swing. I wonder if he's able to get that weight on the transfer on that back leg by not lifting that front leg up very high.
Bonfield has 2 of the 16 home runs for the Hogs this season. Longery tried for the outside corner, but he missed, and it's 3-1.
Just trying to nibble on that outside corner as Longery. He just about 4 to 6 inches off the plate. The Trojans have really been concerned with base runners on second base. Perez is almost right behind second base, trying to keep Cole close, and it's creating some big holes on the infield.
There's ball 4 in the dirt. And Troy, as deep as teams have played their outfield against these Razorback hitters, I don't know if it matters trying to hold somebody at second base.
You're right. These guys are probably about, 15, 20 feet from the track. Maybe center fielder, maybe 30 feet. But
you're not going to throw anybody out.
No, it'd have to be a one-hop absolute rocket. And look how deep the center fielder and even the right fielder, all of them are playing really deep. So, Brad, you think you hit the nail on the head. That's anything on the ground through the infield, there is no way.
We almost couldn't see it. Costa from the wide shot. There he is. Here's Grant Cook. 280 average, a home run for the Hogs catcher. Well placed fastball for strike one at 91 on the radar gun.
Cook kind of broke out just a little bit yesterday. A couple hits in the Friday game, the opener against the Trojans, and you feel like that he's due. He's a guy that likes to stay off the plate and likes the ball middle to end, loves to pull it.
That went too far outside.
Also a guy that you don't see as much as likes the ball up in the strike zone. He's not afraid to tomahawk a ball out. It's about letter high.
See what Longley does with a 1-1 pitch. He's been working that outside corner and maybe got the benefit of the doubt on that pitch for a strike.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit off. Watch how the catcher receives this ball. Kind of pulls it back there at the end.
Talked about how Cook stands far from the plate. That's been the scouting report, to work him outside.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Now they come in, but that ball's popped up, and it'll be back and out of play.
It's not like Cook's a tall guy. A lot of times you see guys that are really tall, 6'4", 6'5", will try to get off the plate a little bit so they don't tie themselves up. Cook right about 6 foot. So you can see how far off the plate he is. He's a mile away from the chalk line. Front end of the batter's box.
Time is called. A couple of runners on for the Hogs there in the first, trying to score first. There's a good angle.
Deep in the box. Got that foot right on the chalk line. He's going to get as much time as he can to see that pitch.
Just missed. Ball 3. Runners will be able to start early. Cole from second, Bonfield from first.
I'm Cook right here. I have to think they're going to try to throw me away again, try to shoot one through that huge hole. Remember, Perez, the second baseman, is playing almost right behind second base, trying to keep Cole close.
Here's the payoff. That ball lifted to right center field. Shockey's back, nearing the track. And the inning is over. Hawks get a couple of base runners, but they leave a pair. Longley able to put up the 0. Here come the Trojans in a scoreless game.
Well, Brett, let's see what the Trojans need to do for a victory today. They got to get some timely hitting. They got base runners on, but they left 8 runners on base in yesterday's loss. And they also need to have some left-handed success. This Arkansas team hits 45 points less against left-handers than against right-handers.
It's a big number. Let's take a look at your 2 cents for the Hogs.
Yeah, they need Isaiah Campbell to get in a groove and kind of find his rhythm. I think he's about ready to. You remember he was off last season with bone spurs in his elbow. And they need to keep hitting the big flies. This is a power-hitting team, 83 homers last year. Dave Van Horn acted like that he's not going to miss a beat with this year's team.
Dylan Paulson leads off the top of the second against Isaiah Campbell. Cleanup hitter takes strike 1 at 90 on the radar gun. So the Trojans shut out yesterday. We had their head coach, Dan Hubbs, for a couple of questions later in the game, and we posed that to him, and he said, well, we just need to get the big hit with men on base. They ran up the pitch count on Knight. Blaine did not have his best control. He fought through fastball command by going with his secondary pitches on. But the Trojans unable to push across a run. So in the course now, Troy, of this is the 4th game in 4 days, and soon they'll be 5-5, as you see Blaine right there. He got the win yesterday. The Hogs have not allowed an earned run in 3+ games. Paulson looks at a strike. Campbell's next one. Kicks away from Cook. Count has gone full to Paulson, a junior from Encinitas, California. 41 games a year ago, hit just .239. He's in the cleanup spot this season. Checked on a high one. And that's ball 4. So the first base runner for USC.
Good at bat by Paulson. Worked the count against Campbell and drew the walk. And if you're going to push runs across, you got to get runners on. And this USC team, they're not afraid to take a walk. They average over 6.5 free passes a ball game.
Be curious to see how aggressive they are early in the count, first time through against Campbell. We know Sable fly it out on the first pitch of the game. Here's Armenta, the third baseman. He'll look at a strike. Armenta had a base running mistake yesterday that really hurt the Trojans in the 4th inning. With one gone, he tried to round second base too far and a base hit to center. Got caught in a rundown, was tagged out. Isaiah fidgeting with his belt and his uniform. Armenta missed all last year with an injury. Takes that just off the corner. So Isaiah's working around the parameters of the zone, but he walked Paulson. He's behind Armenta. 2-1.
The last 2 pitches, I was just trying to use the stopwatch and see how quick Campbell was to the plate. 1-2-5 and 1-2-6. So he's going to give Grant Cook a chance if a runner tries to steal.
Pretty good pitch. Strike called over the inside corner.
Well, you see the release by Campbell. Goes about 6'4", long arms, but really allows him to get a big downward angle. Looks like he's kind of throwing off a mountain or something at you.
Toss to first. Paulson dives back in. I have to believe no matter what the scouting report says about those angles, it is tough for a hitter to gauge the uniqueness until you're out there. A chopper to first, McFarland lobs one to second. Biggers waits for Campbell to get to the bag, but they get the double play anyhow.
You got to remember, Jordan McFarland's a right-handed first baseman, and he does what he's not supposed to do. He throws the ball over the back of the runner. Not the best technique. You're supposed to get well to the inside and throw the ball on the inside. It made Biggers have to cross to the backside of the bag, and Biggers just makes it look easy when somebody throws something like that at him. It's a big double play for the Hogs, and it saves probably about 6 or 7 pitches for Campbell right there by the double play.
That's a big part of it. I mean, not only clearing the bases in 2 outs, but allowing Campbell to work from the windup, maybe economizing his pitches as he pumps in a strike to Perez. We watched Perez take batting practice to see if he's okay after he was hit by a pitch, and watched him out there on the field. Now we'll see what it's like to swing the bat. He was hit by Blaine Knight in the first inning yesterday and then came out of the game.
So it's his right wrist. So let's see if that, as he swings, if he drops that top hand off the bat. It would not surprise me a bit.
This is an all Pac-12 performer from a year ago, hit .328.
Yeah, that hand came off pretty quick, didn't it?
You're right.
Brett?
I would imagine you're up there in somewhat of a protection mode, just trying to put the ball in play.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you don't want cueing off the end of the bat, that vibration going down that bat to your wrist.
Wave and a miss. Offered it one of the dirt. Cook completes the strikeout with the throw to first base. Second K for Isaiah Campbell. So he put Paulson on with a walk. Then he got the double play and the strikeout. Trojans and Hogs in a 0-0 game. Fun time of the year. College basketball winding down and baseball just starting up. Here's the results from yesterday. Vanderbilt lost to Sam Houston in the College Classic, but how about Kentucky, what they did to Houston?
Well, they hung it on Houston. The Cougars took a beating there, and then Tennessee goes down 10-9.
South Carolina, a one-run win over Clemson, a fun series in the Palmetto State this weekend. As McFarland bats, leading off the bottom of the second. But Kentucky will be the team in here for the SEC opener in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're really good. Again, they've got Tristan Pompey as an all-conference outfielder. Just a great switch hitter. And then Sean Jelly, their 6'11 right-handed junior that's going to be highly drafted after this season.
McFarland 3 for 10 with the bat. Starting instead of Jerry Gates, who has sort of taken over that first base job. But a chance to get Jordan in there today.
McFarland goes about 6'3", but he has really good plate coverage and can go get the ball low in the zone.
3 balls and a strike. There's a chopper to Perez and a soft throw to retire McFarland for the first out.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, the center fielder, number 24, Dominic Fletcher.
You just feel like Fletcher's going to break out soon. He has not been looking very comfortable at all, especially against left-handed pitchers.
And that's a big number, Troy, and he's hitting at even 200. He's dropped down to the 7th spot. We saw him hitting 3rd earlier. Made a special point to go down and watch his batting practice today, and he was hitting line drives rather than fly balls and really looked good in BP, but he is facing a lefty today. And his hitting coach, Nate Thompson, said, hey, he's been pitched differently this year. You come off a season that he had last year, you're going to get a lot of breaking balls. And he did mention that, as we've discussed, he feels like Dominic at times trying to do too much, maybe trying to pound balls out of the park instead of just barreling them up.
Yeah, you're right. 12 home runs a season ago, freshman All-American. Yeah, that's going to turn some heads, and you're right. It's going to cause guys to throw you a little softer and try to keep everything away. Dominic's got kind of a big sweeping swing. We kind of talked a little bit yesterday about some similarities between him and Will Clark as far as that great extension through the baseball when he hits it.
2-strike pitch, nearly got Nate Thompson. He had to jump out of the way in the coach's box. He can handle it.
Got to have some athleticism down there.
Attaboy Fletch. Another 2-strike pitch. Oh my, under the chin of Fletcher.
It's one way to get your attention as a hitter. That one is right
over his head,
up almost in your grill right there. Woo. Makes you think twice about it. Yeah, you can see him kind of, not sure if that's a relaxation exhale or just like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't get my melon hit.
You know your fall's not going to be graceful, but you don't really care at that point. You're just trying to get out of the way.
Looks like somebody grabbed both of his feet and just jerked.
So Quentin Longree trying to get the second out of the inning.
pitcher. You got to still think up the middle the other way. You know they're going to probably pitch you on the outside corner.
Down and out, 2-2. Dominic, not a guy who walks a lot, doesn't strike out a lot. 4 walks, and he does have 10 RBIs despite hitting an even 200 entering play today. And a wave and a miss. Went after the high fastball and goes down on strikes.
Really good pitch by Longery. Going to work on both sides of the plate, work him in and out, and then he climbed the ladder. Probably a ball right there, but it's a tough pitch to lay off up in your eyes.
So Longery gave up the hit to Jax Biggers leading off the game and has given up nothing but a walk since. Here's Carson Shaddy. Carson takes strike 1.
One thing scary about this Arkansas lineup, you know, it's still early in the season, but you've got Shaddy with 2 home runs, and then the 9-hole Casey Martin has 3. Can't take your foot off the gas if you're on the mound against the Hogs.
Shaddy shaking his head no, but it looks like Longre's had pretty good command of being able to get just a little bit off that black of the plate and get that strike called as he jumps ahead 0-2. Mark Wagers, our plate umpire here this afternoon. Just a little bit up in the zone.
That's one way to not give up an 0-2 hit. Just throw it to the backstop.
So a ground out and a strikeout here in the Arkansas second inning. Troy, I've been waiting for my first real Baum Stadium experience. I think the wait is over.
That's pretty full.
Shaddy offered, tried to hold back. Disgusted that was called a swing, but it looked like a strike, and it is indeed a K. So Longery has some pretty good stuff early.
Yeah, he really does. And mixing that ball in and out, that's 2 strikeouts for the left-hander. Again, the Razorbacks continue to struggle against lefties.
Let's go look at the head coach of the USC Trojans, Dan Hubbs, and what his team has done offensively. They've yet to score. 8 men on base. Let's face it, Troy, he knew coming into this series facing Blaine Knight on Friday and Isaiah Campbell on Saturday, it was not going to be easy pickings.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Coach Hubbs. You know, he's a former pitcher, and he had his college career there at USC, and he knows how good these 2 guys are. And then probably going to see Casey Murphy tomorrow for Arkansas, and that's not much of a drop off of Knight and Campbell.
Brady Shockey, the batter, 7-8-9 against Isaiah here in the 3rd inning as strike is given to Isaiah. There was one comment that Hubbs made about Campbell that really forced me to reach for my pen and paper and jot it down because I thought it was interesting. And he was talking about the angle and the stuff that Campbell possesses. On the 0-1 pitch, a roller to first, McFarland scooting to his right, flipping to Campbell, and there's one gone. So McFarland getting some place early in this game. But here was the comment that Dan Hubbs made. He said, if Campbell is throwing strikes and he's commanding his pitches, you better bring your lunch pail. In other words, it's time to go to work.
Yeah, he said it's gonna be a battle. It's an all-day affair. You know, because Campbell's a big kid, and you can see him probably throwing, I'd say maybe 90, 95 pitches today if he kind of gets on a roll. A lot of times pitching coaches think about what kind of pitches. Are they stressful situations? And there's something about always pitching with runners on base. It just it's more of a grind mentally and physically on you than if you just kind of roll along and it's easy.
Do you buy into that personally?
I do. I think there's a lot to that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate if so Gwynn comes in. To me, it's like the odometer on your car, right? I mean, there's traffic miles and then there's just highway miles, but they're still the same miles. You know, there's pitches are pitches in my mind. I know that maybe you're huffing and puffing, the adrenaline's flowing out there when you've got base runners. But at the end of the day, it's still tread off the tires. But I understand what the concept is.
Right. I guess, like you said, city miles versus interstate miles. Is it a lot of stop and go traffic? Exactly.
2 balls and a strike to the DH. Now, if Campbell gets that pitch, it's going to be a long day for the Trojans.
94 at the knees in the outside corner. I don't think there's much you can do with that.
You're not going to do a lot of hitting on that pitch. See what he wants to throw. 2-2. A couple of Ks already for Isaiah. Went a little further down and missed. So the pitch count at 30. The right-hander from Olathe, Kansas.
I'd like to know Campbell's shoe size because I'm sitting there watching his shoe. It's like covering up the whole mound. It's got to have like 14s or something. Easy.
Just walked his second batter of the game. He walked Paulson in the second. He puts O'Gwyn on here in the 3rd inning.
That's definitely something you don't want to do as you move closer and closer toward conference play. Any of those free base runners, the last walk that he had, he was able to erase with the 3-6-1 double play started by Jordan McFarland at first base.
Chase Bouchard has been forced into accident shortstop after the injury to Ben Ramirez. Hitting .409 in the 9-hole for the Ben of Troy. Smokes one to center. Fletcher almost in his tracks. That ball finds him for out number 2.
Bouchard hit it right on the button, but right at Dominic Fletcher. You're right. He didn't have to move an inch. Took a step in, then took a step back and just froze.
Two gone as USC turns their lineup over for Blake Sable. Sable has some interesting bloodlines. There's a lot of USC fans, of course, big football fans, but a football school. Finish the thought after this pitch. His second cousin for Sable is Troy Polamalu. Football great who went on to quite a career in the NFL. Even some hair commercials, too.
Yeah.
On TV.
Got to take advantage of those locks, right?
His father, Rob, played baseball at Long Beach State. Long Beach State took care of, it was Baylor last night. That pitch way inside. There we go. How about that work from our crew?
If you can spot a Polamalu jersey in the stands on an away game, that's impressive.
Kind of a delayed steal. First time that Cook will give up one as O'Gwyn took off.
Yeah, that was a perfect delay steal because completely caught Grant Cook off guard. He had a double clutch, and what you do is you take a couple slides. You see in that late reaction, and then he one-hops it in there. Good pick by Biggers, but I like the call by Southern Cal.
I do too, especially with the left-handed batter at the plate. Kind of hid the viewpoint of Grant Cook.
That's Jordan McFarland's job, the first baseman, to yell. I really couldn't tell if he did or not, to let Cook know.
Sable chases a pitch, a little bit up and out of the zone. Trojans have a man in scoring position, a chance to get on the board in this series. There's O'Gwyn. Two balls and two strikes to Sable. This will end the inning. Who wants it? Martin, the third baseman, makes the catch. 30 innings in this series, not a single earned run has been allowed.
And they've done a great job at the pitchers for Arkansas. Let's see what the bats can do.
I would say those weather conditions, perfect recipe for some weekend baseball. 66 degrees and sunny And the fans have turned out in droves.
It is a full house out there in the hog pen. You had to get here really early with your cooler and lawn chair to get a spot. And you know it's a big crowd when the bleachers on the very back side of the hog pen are full.
They were lined up early this morning to get in and watch some batting practice and stake out their claim. Zero game as we head to the home half of the third inning, and Casey Martin is the only man who hasn't hit yet in this game. Third baseman hitting .409 with 3 home runs in the 9th spot. Biggers and Cole to follow this inning against Quentin Longree. Longree had given up 13 hits in 9 innings coming in. Seems to have located his pitches fairly well today despite falling behind 2-0.
Trying to think, Martin runs very well. Longree, after he throws a pitch, falls off toward the third base side.
Roller to short. Bouchard throws out Martin for the first out.
I was thinking might be a good opportunity for Martin to try to push bunt right there, but then he decided to swing and grounds out.
One time through the lineup, the Hawks had just 1 hit. So Longree so far so good. Now he faces the man who got that base hit in Jax Biggers. 11 hits on the year for Jax. Fouled that one back to the screen. See Dan Hubbs to the left. He flashed in a couple of signs for his catcher, Sable. Trojans wearing their traditional road jerseys today. Biggers didn't even flinch as that one came inside.
Well, if Arkansas can't scratch out very many hits, they got to get base runners somehow. So Biggers trying to work that count in his favor, and he's done so right here.
That ball smoked to right center field for a base hit. Long run for Acosta to cut it off and play it back in, and Biggers will hold with a wide turn at first. He's 2 for 2.
You didn't know off the bat if Biggers could stretch that into a double. Kind of got in on him just a little bit. Acosta does a really good job. Watch him get around this baseball. Biggers took a big wide turn. He's like, okay, I'm going to cut it off and get it back in a hurry and keep Biggers to a single. Jack 2 for 2.
Couple of good swings. Here's Eric Cole. He had a bullet, but right at the third baseman, Armenta. He had one play, and that was a force on Biggers at second base. Just a soft lob over the first by Longree.
Now you wonder if Jax is going to get the good move. That was the, hey, I'm thinking about you move. Let's see if he doesn't try to be a little more deceptive.
Not much. Listen, if I'm Longree, as fans, if we're sitting downstairs, we might be grumbling or booing. Want this game to pick up in pace, but we've seen the Trojans catchers throw, and it has not been good.
Yeah, you're exactly right. One thing I always like to do, if I'm a left-handed pitcher and I don't have a very good move, then I don't even show it. I'm not going to show that I don't have a good move, just make him think that I do. Just keep going to the plate.
The cat and mouse game. Pitch to Cole, misses. Longree would love to put up 3 zeros through the first 3 innings, try and keep these hog hitters from launching balls into the well-populated hog pen area in the berm. Keep this one tough and tight.
one thing that Arkansas head coach Dave Van Horn does. Early on in his career, he used to coach third base, and he thought, no, I get a better angle and a better view of the whole game if I do it from the dugout, but he still flashes the signs to the players on the field from that dugout spot.
Pop up first base side as Paulson have room. Over near the railing, he's got just enough to make the catch. Second out of the inning. Good job finding the railing.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, number 18.
Yeah, you're right. Paulson got over there in a hurry and used that offhand to reach down and kind of find that wall. See him take a little quick peek right there. Took another one. That's how it's done right there. Good job, Mr. Paulson.
Just enough of a crosswind blowing to that third base dugout maybe to keep it from being in the first or second row. Kerstad struck out his only time in. Now they have Biggers picked. Good throw down to second base, and he is out. A pickoff, caught stealing 1-3-6, ending the inning. So Longree did show the good move.
Biggers going on first movement. Caught dead to right, stealing right there.
Good old-fashioned pitcher's duel today at Baum Stadium.
They just feel like one of these teams is going to break it open in a hurry. Campbell and Longree just getting it done on the bump.
Isaiah Campbell has worked around a couple of walks. Jax Biggers, the only player in this game to have a hit. He has two, but he was out in the caught stealing to end the third inning. Lars Nootbaar steps in. Campbell's pitch just misses outside. Good pitch to even the count.
That's just a very easy 91 right there. That just looks like he's up there throwing a bullpen on a Tuesday.
Nootbaar taking, but a strike is called. I think he thought that was in.
Good job by Campbell using both sides of the plate. First two pitches on the outside corner, then he's going to come right back to the inside corner. Look how quiet Grant Cook is receiving that baseball. That is a big league catcher in the making.
Next one to Nootbaar's in the dirt. Nootbaar hit .313 last year with 62 hits for the Trojans. He had a brother Nigel, who was a pitcher on the baseball team at USC 2012 through 2014, and then was drafted by Baltimore. So the Trojans a family affair, playing for USC. Campbell's had a couple of full counts, and he's had two walks, and he's taken the count full to Nootbaar. Couple of strikeouts so far today for Isaiah. That ball is smoked, and it is fair into the right field corner. Cole will chase, gets a pretty good carom, and Nootbaar content to stop at second with a double.
Campbell got that ball up in the strike zone. You see Nootbaar, that's about letter high. He does not miss it. Good job of pulling his hands inside the baseball to keep it fair. You get that barrel head out too fast, you're going to hook it foul down that right field line if you're left-handed. It's a good piece of hitting.
First hit of the game for USC. And here's Matthew Acosta, the center fielder.
Let's see if they're going to play a little small ball and try to bunt him up to third base.
See if the three-hole hitter is bunting here in the fourth inning. Taking instead.
I wouldn't put it past the West Coast team to do that. So
I wouldn't either. That's what I was curious about, though.
Right.
You want to play for a run. Obviously, they've not scored in this series. And Arkansas has not given up an earned run in this homestand.
Yeah, you do have a left-handed batter, so you think that he can get on top, roll over the top of something, hit a ground ball to the right side, move that runner up.
He bounced out to Shaddy, his only time in at second. Soars one of the to center field. Fletcher back.
He better not run on Fletcher.
He's going to test Fletcher. Here's the throw. It is on line. It is perfect. Wow, what a throw.
The number 2 ranked outfielder in high school baseball 2 seasons ago. He's got a flat-out cannon. He wasn't able to get behind that baseball, but you just knew he was going to let it fly. And he just threw an absolute pellet to Casey Martin at third base. That is a giant play for Arkansas.
Troy, your point was valid. He was unable to get under that baseball. He had to take a step back at the last second rather than charging, and still was able to throw a BB.
Yeah, I've watched this kid throw for the past couple years, and I'm telling you, it's got one of the best arms in all of college baseball. And when he can really let that one sail, he doesn't have to worry about a cutoff man like that situation. Watch out.
Pitch to Paulson, hit foul wide to first. Let's watch this again, because at the end he had to take a couple of steps back, Troy.
Yeah, he's backpedaling right there, but just uncorks it and just threw an absolute strike to Martin. He doesn't have to move right or left, right on the money.
Beautiful. Hawks have had a pair of double plays. That's your 8-5 double play. Second assist in the outfield for Fletcher in as many days, in the 2-strike pitch. A little bit in. What a way to take the life out of an inning for the Trojans.
It really did, and boy, it really kind of kick-started this Razorback fan base as well, too. They're hooping and hollering on every ball and strike, and a lot of times it's a home run that makes a play. How about a throw it out third base?
Dribbler by the mound. Shaddy's going to have to charge. Scoop. Flip with the glove. Looked like Frank White on that play.
Flashback to the Kansas City Royals. Frank White, a great second baseman, and that's a great play by Carson Shaddy. Just a cannon by Dominic Fletcher. Just an inning game changer right there for the Hogs.
Still looking for the game's first run. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dominic Fletcher doesn't have a stage presence. He doesn't understand that we're focusing in on him. He needs to be on the top step, accepting congratulations from his teammates and getting his proper due. He's hiding. Heston Kjerstad hits one down the first base line. Good play by Paulson, and just in time to get Kjerstad. One good play deserves another. Kjerstad robbed of maybe extra bases.
That's a second good play by Paulson over there at first base. The first time was when he went into the first row and pulled one back and had to reach across his body. It is an outstanding play.
Here's Luke Bonfield. So just 3 hits so far in this game. Good pitch for a strike at the knees. Bonfield with a home run yesterday to start the scoring. Longery with the pitch. Off the end of the bat. Will drop in center in front of Acosta.
You wonder if Acosta gave up on that ball too soon, because it looked like he really didn't come at it hard. And again, you talked about it, how deep these Trojan outfielders have been playing.
I thought he could have caught that.
I think he could have too. Look at him, he's just kind of trotting in. Granted, you don't want to play that into a triple, so maybe that's what he was thinking.
I think that was a better angle than the first look we had from behind home plate, where it looked like he just allowed the ball to drop. But Bonfield will take the base hit. Here's Grant Cook.
Average speed at first in Bonfield.
Line drive, base hit, left center. Bonfield will have to stop at second. Acosta quickly plays that ball back in. Back-to-back hits with one out. Now how big is that play by Paulson to start this inning on Kjerstad?
Yeah, it really is. Arkansas is really starting to square the ball up. Cook doesn't miss it. Again, he likes that ball up in the zone, out over the plate, and just delivers a bullet base hit to center field, and the Hogs have got something rolling.
Traffic on the bases as Longley approaches 50 pitches as we're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here is McFarland. Bounced out to second, his only time in. Good pitch from the lefty to start ahead in the count.
Again, the Hogs have average speed all around at second, at first, and at the plate. So good opportunity for the Trojans to try to roll two right here.
Bounce up the first base side. Foot race to the bag, and Longley wins it. Another 3-1 out this inning.
Olsen's staying busy over there at first base.
Hogs have 2 minutes scoring position, now 2 outs.
Well, usually the guy that makes a big play defensively is somebody that's going to come up and do the same thing at the plate. Let's see if Dominic Fletcher can carry over that good fortune from that throw into the batter's box.
There's Dominic Fletcher. Fletcher struck out his only time in. He's 2 for 16 this year against left-handed pitching. No better time to change that than right here. A couple of Hogs in scoring position. Ball one outside.
One thing these West Coast teams do is even with 2 outs, they'll play that third baseman even with the bag. They're not going to give up that push bunt down the third base line for a base hit with a runner on third base.
Fletcher takes again, 2-0.
This is where you don't want to do too much with that swing. Don't get too big. And also don't swing at a pitcher's pitch.
3-0. Shaddy on deck.
I think you got to give Fletcher the take right here, especially with the lefty-lefty matchup. Him struggling a little bit at the plate. Got to give your redshirt senior a chance to drive in a few runs.
Longley needs a strike, doesn't get it. Bases are full of Hogs. Time to put the hat on.
Get the bases loaded beer mug hat. And there they are. Sable's going to go out and talk to his left-hander to settle him down. He's also going to take a mound visit.
Head coach Dan Hubbs, who also serves as the pitching coach, will visit with Longley and Sable. As the fans call the Hogs here at the bottom in the fourth inning of a scoreless game. The inning started with Kerstead being retired on a nice play on one pitch. Since then, 2 singles and a walk and a ground out.
Yeah, if you're Carson Shaddy, you want to be controlled but aggressive here at this first pitch. You know Longley doesn't want to get behind in this count. You also got to make sure you don't chase one that's kind of borderline.
And after missing on 4 straight, he finds the zone to Shaddy. 8 of Carson's 9 RBIs came in the first 2 games of the season. Hog at every base here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Longley's next one. Sprayed foul. Now it's 0-2.
one thing about having bases loaded right here. If you're longer, you really don't want to bury one in the dirt on the chance it's going to kick away from your catcher, Sable.
Bonfield is the runner at third base. Sable really sets up outside. And that one wasn't close.
Still think of your Carson. You've got to think, take this ball the other way. You know, they're probably just gonna nibble at that outside corner.
See where Sable sets the target over the inside corner, and that pitch came in and locked him up, but he knocked it down.
Run-saving stop right there by Sable.
See the Trojans much more deliberate in their pitch signals in an early big situation in this game. From 2-0 to 2-2 with the bases loaded. And the count just like that has gone full.
That's a really good job by the redshirt senior out of Fayetteville. Carson Shaddy working this count. Not being too jumpy up there. You see him still pretty balanced, taking that ball in the dirt. The runners are going to get a head start. They're going to be off with the pitch. Got to make sure that the pitcher doesn't do that inside move for your Grant Cook or Dominic Fletcher on the bases.
There they go. Here's the payoff. Comebacker to Longley. And he'll get out of the inning, and he's pumped up. Hogs leave him loaded. We'll talk to Blaine Knight, Arkansas starter, when we come back in a 0-0 game. Arkansas left the bases loaded in the bottom of the fourth. Still a 0-0 game as we head into the top of the fifth inning at Baum Stadium. Joined by yesterday's starter, Blaine Knight, who had 6 scoreless innings, got the win. Blaine, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win. I know you fought your control a little bit yesterday, but ultimately you were able to put up 6 zeros.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it was a tough situation for me just because I'm used to having really, really good control and being able to command the zone. And you know, I didn't have it yesterday, but I battled through, let my defense work, and they backed me up, and were able to get a win.
Blaine, was that why you kind of pitched a little backwards yesterday, going to that breaking ball kind of early on in the counts?
Yeah, I had a really good feel for the breaking ball yesterday, and I knew I could throw it for strikes. And, you know, this team right here, they kind of set patterns and stuff. So I was just trying to mix it up and just keep them off balance as much as possible.
I got to ask you one more question. So I see the camo sleeve you've got working there. So definitely an outdoors guy, aren't you?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Hey, Blaine, tell me about the relationship with Grant Cook. One of the things you mentioned when you talked this spring about coming back was you said you still had Grant, and he's back there behind the plate. How often are you guys on the same wavelength as he's calling a game?
You know, we're on the same page 99% of the time. I mean, yesterday was the first time I actually shook him off and went to a different pitch, and it actually worked out for me. You know, so I trust him solely 100%. The only time I ever do anything different than what Grant says is if I see something, and I happened to yesterday, and it worked out.
Tell me what your thoughts on Isaiah Campbell. Obviously, wasn't able to pitch last year. He's a different type of pitcher than you are, a different angle that the ball comes out on, but he seems to be very effective against these hitters.
Oh yeah, Zay's a dude, and you know, I hated the situation he was in last year where he didn't get to pitch, and he was going to be a big guy for us. But you know, he battled back and came back from his adversity, and you know, he's doing what he's doing right now, and he's doing really well. He's able to keep these guys, keep the ball out of the air. You know, he's filling the zone up, and he looks really, really good.
Last question. Tell me what your thoughts have been on seeing these freshman pitchers. We've seen a lot of them this week in the Dayton series. These guys have stepped in. It doesn't look like the moment has been too big for them.
You know, they've handled it really, really well. You know, that was something that kind of surprised me when they came in. You know, they didn't come in timid or anything. You know, they just came in and said, hey, here it is. I mean, we're going to show you what we can do. And, you know, that's what they've done. And, you know, it's really been good for us. It's saved a lot of the other guys in the pen, and especially for these midweek games and, you know, on the weekends as well, like Rutledge did yesterday. So I hope they keep it up, and, you know, they should.
Hey, real good insight, Blaine. We appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win yesterday.
Hey, thank y'all. See y'all.
That's Blaine Knight. I always enjoy the perspective talking about those freshman pitchers because it seems like a very similar theme from top to bottom.
Yeah, it really does. And you could see even he was a little bit surprised. And they saw these guys in the fall, but when you translate that into real games in the spring and what nerves are going to do, but the freshman class, it looks like that Wes Johnson and Dave Van Horn are stocked up for years to come.
A lot of contributors in that dugout. Campbell got Armenta to bounce out to second to start the inning. Brandon Perez with that right hand wrapped up. Has a count of 2-2. That's the new thing with those batting gloves, though, right? You leave that flap open. We think of the guys keep wrapping up those batting gloves. He's got that right one loose.
That drives me crazy. I always wanted my gloves to be tight.
Just serving one into center, but it travels to Fletcher. Easy play for Dom, 2 outs.
I would think Mike Hargrove back in the day would be disappointed. He was always having to tighten up each batting glove about 2 or 3 times before he got in the batter's box.
Major League Baseball going through all their pace of play initiatives. If they get rid of batting gloves, that might save 10 minutes on game.
Exactly.
If everybody was like Jared Gates.
Like old school.
Here's Shockey. Shockey rolled out to first, his only time in. Fourth game of a 5-game homestand, all in a row. That's a long run for Kjerstad, sliding into the wall. Unable to make the play.
Well, I like that approach. That's what you have to do to protect yourself, is go in feet first. And he knew where that wall was. It seems to have crashed into that padding. It's one of those things when you know your home field. There's some fields that don't have that padding down the lines. It's just concrete. I don't think you make that attempt in that kind of situation.
I've got one rule. Nobody hurt Kjerstad.
Yeah. Not even himself.
Don't do anything that might cause bodily harm. Two-strike pitch. Soft roller to first. McFarland's also been busy. Inning over. How about the fact in this homestand, Arkansas pitchers have thrown 32 innings without an earned run. Couple of zeros in the run column as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Left-hander Quentin Longree back to the mound, and so he was able to escape a bases-loaded jam last inning.
Yeah, I was really shocked. He went 3-2 count, threw the pitch to Shaddy and jammed him. He'd been nibbling on that outside corner and really changed it up, and I thought that was the difference in that at-bat by Shaddy.
Here's Casey Martin to lead off the inning. So far, so good for Longree. He's out of Mission Viejo, California, but J. Sarah Catholic High School, and that is an absolute baseball powerhouse. It was in 2017, Royce Lewis, the first overall selection in the draft, came out of J. Sarah. Of course, they also had Dante Pettis, if you remember, the football player for the Washington Huskies, who must have returned about 8 punts for touchdowns this year, another J. Sarah guy. There's a strike to Martin, who's 0 for 1.
I just want to see Casey Martin hit one in the gap, and I want to watch him run. He's a guy that has some great speed.
He'll drop one in front of Acosta. And a good big inning for the Hogs here in the 5th inning.
So you wonder what the approach is going to be with Martin and the speed he has. Got the left-handed hitting Biggers. I keep Martin kind of put over there at first base. Let Biggers have the big hole between first and second to hit through with Paulson holding Biggers on. You can see him right there in the screen. That creates a giant hole Even if Biggers just kind of rolls one through there, it's going to be a base hit.
Martin, a perfect 3 of 3 and stolen base attempts, draws the throw. Biggers has 2 of the 5 hits for the Hogs this afternoon. Well, he jumped out of the way. Mark Wagers, the plate umpire, was hopping to his left.
Biggers called time, and he started to be bailed out of the box. The umpire's bailing out behind the catcher. All kinds of movement on that play.
C. Jax has raised his average 40 points with a couple of hits. Scored 2 runs yesterday. That one's high.
Longley was pretty close, not stopping right there. He tried to change up the pace. The last pitch he held for a long time before he threw it to Biggers. That's what generated the time call. That one right there, he almost rolled through that pause.
Double barrel action going in the USC bullpen. 65 pitches into the inning for Longley, but he has been very successful. We talked about the fact at the very beginning that Arkansas is so left-handed dominant. They've seen their fair share of left-handed pitching this year and batting 45 points lower as a team than they do against righties. Cole and Kerstead to follow as Arkansas looks to get on the board. We've talked all year about the early inning production for this offense, not today. But as this schedule starts to settle in, we're not going to see those 18, 34-run games.
You're exactly right. You figure this Arkansas lineup's going to break out sooner or later. Big home run by Bonfield yesterday, but Biggers shows bunt right there.
2 balls and a strike to Jax. Boy, he made a couple of fine plays in the field yesterday, showing off that glove. He and Shaddy had a nice turn of a double play. Biggers to bunt again. Tried to push one and pushed it foul.
If you're bunting for a hit, that's what you do. You don't want to ever get anywhere close to the pitcher. So I hear Dave Van Horn say it all the time in batting practice. Hey, don't be afraid to bunt it foul. It's okay. Just don't bunt it back to the pitcher.
I heard him say that today, Troy. He said, I'd rather you bunt it foul than bunt it poorly.
Yeah. That is kind of a pet peeve of DVH's. Dave Van Horn, probably one of the best, if not the best, coach in all of college baseball in his 16th season here at Arkansas. We talked about it, just got that 600th victory out in San Diego. At 600 at his current school.
That's right.
Almost 1,200 in his career.
Troy, I might be willing to start Martin here.
I think they're going to pick again.
You can see Martin has not had an extended lead. And Longley's had some just show me moves, and then of course had Biggers the one time that Jax went on first movement in the 3rd inning.
Well, Martin's not having any trouble reading that move, so I'd almost give him the green light.
Pitch is high.
And see, what the other thing it does too is it, as a pitcher gives so much concentration to the runner at first, a lot of times you'll see those guys miss high. They'll try to rush that motion a little quicker to home plate and not allow that arm to get through the throwing motion.
We'll find out here. He's not running. Lifted to left. Newbar fighting the sunshine. It's out number 1.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, number 8, Eric Cole.
Martin remains at first. Eric Cole, the new hitter.
We've not seen a good throw from a Trojan catcher at this point. Down to second base on a steal attempt.
A little better throwing lane here if Martin runs with a right-handed batter in. To me, it just doesn't look like Martin had a good idea of the move of Longery, or he's just not in a running position, so he doesn't have to.
Right. Because that move by Longery is not deceptive at all.
Martin's going back to the bag often as the pitch is delivered. Not that time. He runs. Chopper to third. Armenta makes the play. There's the throw to third base, and it's going to be in time to get Martin. And a double play ends the inning. So when the Hogs do try to run, it didn't work out. Crazy play.
Yeah, great play by the Trojans. Just heads up play by Paulson. He throws a strike to third base. Martin hung out to dry.
To the sixth inning we go in a 0-0 game. USC head coach Dan Hubbs joins us. Coach, what has impressed you most about your left-hander Longery in his performance today?
Well, I think even when he struggled with some command issues in between at bats, he's come back and made the pitch when he had to, and he's made some pitches to get out of a couple jams. But all in all, I think he's been able to mix his pitches well and spot it up. And like I said, he's been able to trust his fastball, which I think is the biggest thing.
Coach, how are you guys going to try to solve Isaiah Campbell? I know he's going to do a pretty good job so far.
Hey, he's doing a great job. I mean, he's moving the fastball around, and he has a really good change, and he's mixing in the breaking ball. But we just got to stick with it. I think we're having some good at-bats. I mean, we've hit a couple balls hard. We just have to string a few things together, but Q's keeping us in the game. The defense is keeping us in the game. And, anything can happen at this point if they keep us around.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Good ball game going on as we head to the sixth inning. 8-9-1, O'Gwyn, Bouchard, and Sable. First pitch from Campbell is called a strike at 91. Always appreciate the coaches joining us mid-game.
Yeah, that's tough because, they want to kind of be in there seeing what's happening every second of the game.
Biggers waits for the high bounce. Sets himself and throws out O'Gwyn to start the sixth inning.
Yeah, good job by Biggers. Knowing who the batter was, he knew he had an extra step or two with O'Gwyn there at the plate. And as an infielder, you always got to pick that big hop, and that's what Jack's did.
Bouchard, the batter. He lined to center his only time in.
95 in that last fastball by Campbell. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown all game.
I'll say we've seen some 90s and some 91s. You said reach back for a little more. Big tight leg kick on the pitch. And that's the spot again. I say if he can hit that spot, hitters aren't going to be willing to pull the trigger, and you're going to get a lot of strikes.
Well, if you are, you're going to hit a little weak ground ball to the second baseman. I mean, there's just nothing you can do with that ball. That's the tip your hat to the pitcher pitch and go, I can't touch it.
Little bloop in the center. Fletcher coming on, won't get there. Base hit by Bouchard. That is just the second hit of the game for the Trojans.
Now batting, number 5.
Off the bat, you thought that thing was going to carry a little farther, and it just continued to get knocked down. We've got about a 8 to 10 mile an hour breeze blowing straight in from right field, and that's what pushed that ball away from Fletcher. He kind of thought about laying out there for a second, but you just know how much ground you have to cover, and there's no sense diving when you can't make a play. It might ricochet off of you, and then next thing you know, the guy standing at second base with one out instead of keeping the double play in order.
Sable's popped up and flew out. He's a young man that Coach Hubbs feels like has a lot of potential for power as he grows into his body. Bouchard's not attempted a steal this season. Got tangled up a bit with McFarland at first.
I think the sun's pretty tough. Everybody on the infield except for McFarland's got their sunglasses on. Shaddy at second, Biggers at short, even Casey Martin at third base. You don't see that happen very often when they play with their shades down.
Last thing you want to do in a 0-0 game is lose the ball today.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Campbell working from the stretch. That one sent out into right center for a base hit. Bouchard is going to turn and go to third base. Throw from Cole is cut off. And the Trojans have runners on the corners. And that was a good base running decision by Bouchard.
Yeah, that ball's in front of him. He can see how soft it was hit. Just kind of cued off the end of the bat.
Now batting, number 11.
By Sable.
You
You see just a little looper out there in front of Cole. Good job by Cole not to overthrow that cutoff man. Biggers makes a good fake, and you always want to spin around and check that runner in third base. The double play's still in order for the Hogs, but it's going to bring pitching coach Wes Johnson out here. You can see Campbell kind of shaking his head going, man, both those balls are just little loopers.
Got the bounce out to short to start the inning, but back-to-back base hits, and now he's got to contend with the heart of the lineup in Newbar and Acosta.
Wes Johnson in his second year in Arkansas. Spent 1 year with the Bulldogs in Starkville for Mississippi State. Previous to that, he was the pitching coach at Dallas Baptist. Always a great school that just continued to churn out excellent pitchers.
Well, Isaiah has a test. He gave up a leadoff double in the fourth inning, but Acosta flied out to center. And Fletcher, with a perfect throw to third base, nailed Newbar for a double play. Longray had the bases loaded situation in the Hogs' fourth inning, but he got out of the jam. But now USC can push across their first run of this three-game series. Remember, Newbar had the double down the right field line in the fourth inning.
The runner at first, Sable, is 1 for 1 on the season in stolen bases. Pretty conservative lead right now.
Big foul ball to our left. USC had their 7-game winning streak snapped yesterday when Arkansas put up a 4-0 shutout in the opener. No run so far in this game. USC trying to change that. That's a good stop by Cook.
Campbell looking for a ground ball. Trojans looking for a base hit.
Good battle here. And the pitch to Newbar is down. Isaiah over 70 on the pitch count. Been able to cruise really through 5 innings, running into some problems here in the 6th, even though it's a really good job of hitting by Bouchard and Sable to get those singles. Go ahead run 90 feet away. Off the corner. Now it's 3-1.
Matt Cronin down the bullpen throwing. Also Barrett Lowski took off and went down there. He's not throwing, but definitely joining Jake Reindl and Cody Scroggins as well down there, but it's Cronin the one warming up.
Hitters count for Newbar, and he just took ball 4. So the bases are full of Trojans for the number 3 hitter in the lineup, Acosta.
Now batting, number 6, Matthew Acosta.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Van Horn doesn't go to Matt Cronin right here. Get that lefty-lefty matchup. Cronin's definitely a strikeout guy.
Bases full of Trojans. Campbell just spinning that ball behind the mound before he's ready to climb back up on the hill. You might be right, Troy.
Yeah, Dave Van Horn usually doesn't come out and have conferences at the mound. He comes out to change pitchers. You see Dave Van Horn's resume there. Just a guy that wins everywhere he goes. Won the NAIA National Championship at Central Missouri, took Nebraska to 2 College World Series. Isaiah Campbell gets a big hand from this Razorback crowd.
Trojans got him out of the game. Matt Cronin coming on. Biggest threat of the contest for USC. Matt and Cronin inherits a little bit of a mess. Bases loaded, 1 gone, scoreless game, 6th inning. But what a West Coast trip he had.
He was outstanding in San Diego, one of the big bright spots of that road trip. And Dave Van Horn says, he goes, I don't know what it is, but he said left-handed batters, it's almost like that he throws an invisible fastball to him. He said a lot of times they won't even swing at that fastball. And he's definitely has strikeout stuff. You can see he has not given up an earned run so far this season. Has a big overhand curve, and he'll throw that fastball anywhere from 90 to about 94 miles an hour. Again, just a 2-pitch guy, your prototypical reliever.
Arkansas pitchers have not given up an earned run in 32-plus innings in this homestand. Isaiah Campbell hoping that 0 earned run stays true after this inning. He's responsible for the 3 base runners. Talking things over with Blaine Knight. Got the first out of the inning, Troy, but then a couple of pretty good pieces of hitting for singles by Bouchard and Sable.
Yeah, he sure did. And again, you think that USC, that's the 3rd time through the order for them to take a look at Campbell, and you know, he battled out there. He gave the Arkansas a chance to win. Just neither team can really scratch in a run. Cronin needs a strikeout or a pop-up.
Acosta, the batter. He's flied out. He's grounded out. Big portion of this game, considering how tough runs have been to come by, even scoring threats. Ripped a miss. Bouchard from 3rd came sprinting down the line before he stopped on the pitch from Cronin.
Casey Martin, the 3rd baseman for Arkansas, playing even with the bag.
Strike 2.
That's what you get from Matt Cronin, just swing and miss stuff. That is just an electric fastball out of the left arm of Matt Cronin. That you can't slow it down. Got to keep throwing hard right here. Acosta has not shown he can catch up to that fastball.
See what Cronin throws 1 and 2. Back with the fastball at 91 mph. Two singles and a walk have loaded them up for the men of Troy here in their 6th.
I think if he throws that big breaking ball, you might see Acosta just buckle right here.
Fastball again. Added a couple of mph, but another foul ball. Cronin on a relief of Isaiah Campbell. Heart's beating a little bit faster. No place to put Matthew Acosta. 2 and 2.
It's a good stop by Grant Cook. That ball's down and away. Wasn't in the dirt, but not an easy pitch to handle for a catcher.
Line drive, base hit, left field. It's going to score a run. Here's Kersted's throw to the plate. Cook the reach. Out at the dish. But the Trojans have the lead. Sable cut down by Kerstad. And what a play by Cook to get the tag.
Boy, a great slide, but just a better effort by Grant Cook. Just a beautiful piece of hitting by Acosta. Just punched that ball in there. You see that Kerstad lets that ball skip, and the umpire's right on top of that play. Mark Wagers could not have been in better position, so you have to think he makes the right call because he's right on top of it.
But the Trojans have the run. And that ends a streak of 15 straight batters that Cronin had retired going back to the road trip. Here's Paulson, runners at second and third with 2 outs. First earned run given up in this homestand, and it was Acosta delivering the RBI, but Kerstad with a big play. Strike ball. Cronin works that outside corner for strike 2.
I think if you're Cronin, you might want to try to go inside right here. If you hit him, first base is still open, but I think you've got the hitter leaning out over the plate with a couple of those fastballs in the outside corner.
It's down 2-2. First run of the game has come across, and USC looking for more. That's a swing. Inning over. Cronin gets the K, but the Trojans get a run. And it's USC up over Arkansas 1-0.
Big strikeout for Cronin with runners on second and third. Arkansas only down a run. See if they can scratch one out. Well, Quentin Longley has had a great outing so far for the Trojans, and he has absolutely carved up these Razorback hitters. That's a huge strikeout with bases loaded against Carson Shaddy, and you see the strikeout of Heston Kerstad, and so Kerstad's going to get another shot right here against the left-hander.
Kerstad drives one to right field. This ball's going to take a bounce and go up off the fence. And that's going to be an easy double for Kerstad. And the Hogs desperately in need of some runs, trailing for the first time.
Well, you know Kerstad's going to break out sooner or later, and that ball's up in the strike zone. He does not miss it. And I tell you what, this freshman is absolutely special. He's probably one of the better hitting freshmen I've seen in a long time here in Fayetteville.
Represents the tying run just like that as Bonfield will bat.
Arkansas is the team that really doesn't play much small ball. So let's see if Dave Van Horn decides to try to go for the big inning, or let's try to bunt Kerstad up to third base with less than 2 outs.
Bonfield has singled and walked. Homered in the first inning yesterday. Should be a swing. And is. Bonfield unable to check. Heard Dan Hubbs earlier. Dave Van Horn doesn't agree. I think he wanted an appeal. We heard Dan Hubbs calling Quentin Longren Q. Well, Q has been tough against these Hog hitters. He had that bases loaded threat in the fourth with 2 outs. Arkansas has not threatened much in this game.
There haven't been very many good swings against Longley so far today.
6 hits. Arkansas has out-hit USC 6-4, but since that first inning, the only time they've had men in scoring position was when they loaded the bases in the fourth with 2 outs. Didn't score. 75th pitch from Longley. A big chopper to the right side. Longry's got to hurry to cover. He should be safe. It is. Longry nearly jackknife going over the pillow, and Bonfield smelling a hit. Should get credit for an infield single.
Good hustle by Bonfield. Just kind of got hit in no man's land and chopped over the first baseman. Paulson couldn't come up with it, and you see Longry getting over there. He just was wide of the base. You can see him, he just totally misses the base. Tried to drag that foot, but clearly passed it already.
Troy, should Paulson have just stayed put and let Perez go get that ball?
I think he should have. That's just not knowing the speed of the ball, and I think if he takes off the first baseman, you're talking Paulson, if he just covers first, I think that's going to be an easy out. It just totally changes the complexion of this inning.
Kirstead took a wide turn around third base when that play transpired at first, but Nate Thompson nearly tackled him. Hogs, after falling behind for the first time in this homestand, have runners on the corners and nobody out for Cook. Line drive, caught at third, safe barely as Kirstead.
Wow, Grant Cook absolutely smokes one at third base, and that's just been the luck of the Hogs today, or the lack thereof. Outstanding play
Now batting for the Razorbacks.
By Armenta.
Armenta, just amazing. Looked like Brooks Robinson over there makes the catch, and almost, I can't believe what a heads-up base running job that is by Heston Kirstead.
That's a case for Kirstead. You just can't get doubled off. I mean, you're going to score if it gets by him, but you can't risk venturing down the line and getting doubled off. But now, Longry is a ground ball away from maybe getting out of the inning. After the Hogs had him at first and third, nobody out. And McFarland is getting the start today as a right-handed hitter. Is 0 for 2. With a couple of ground outs.
So if you're McFarland, you want to lift something to the outfield, so he's probably going to get pitched down in the strike zone right here.
Chance for a double play, and the Trojans are going to get out of this inning after first and third and nobody out. Oh my goodness.
Huge double play for the Trojans. Just a picture perfect, tailor-made ball to Bouchard, to Perez, to Paulson.
Trojans got their run in the sixth inning. Here's the base hit by Acosta. Watch the throw from Kirstead.
Yeah, right on the money. Just a great effort for Cook to go get that baseball. It was kind of into the inside of the infield. Blake Sable thought he was safe. Grant Cook with just an amazing athletic effort.
Kept it from being a 2-0 game. Maintained a 1-0 contest. Here is Armenta. He takes a strike, but Armenta spared the line drive at third base hit by Cook. If it's in the corner, it's a tie game, and the Hogs are looking at a big inning. And then McFarland bounced into a double play, and Arkansas did not score. So Cronin stays in the game, but now there's not a big margin for error to allow any further damage. Armenta's 0 for 2. He's hit into a double play. Should be a swing. That is
Arkansas
first baseman.
And Dave Van Horn, just made a change over there. Jared Gates, sure-handed first baseman, is going to come in and patrol the opposite hot corner, I guess if you can call it that way.
That one's up over the roof and out of play. Hawks have 7 hits to 4 for the Trojans, but USC has the game's only run.
For Arkansas's sake, they've made some pretty outstanding throws. You saw the one last inning by Heston Kirstead, and then earlier in the ballgame, Dominic Fletcher threw a base runner trying to tag from second to third. So that's a couple of runners that could have easily come around and scored for the Trojans.
That is a good point. USC probably feels like their lead could be larger. Shaddy to his left from the outfield grass will retire Armenta. 1 gone, 7th inning.
Now
Perez, we talked about earlier on that his right wrist was hit by a Blaine Knight fastball yesterday. You can see it all taped up, and you watch as he takes a swing, that top hand will come off that bat pretty quickly. Last time he was up, he just kind of guided one out into center field to Fletcher.
Another pop-up, another foul ball.
As soon as I said that, he kept that hand on there. Maybe he's feeling a little bit better.
Puts the Velcro on the left batting glove, but not the right.
It's all about style. I guess that's cooler.
That wrap might be pretty thick as well. Hogs had the bases loaded in the fourth, didn't score. First and third, nobody out in the sixth, and did not score. So Cronin wants to keep this a one-run game. Isaiah Campbell went 5 1/3 innings, tagged for the run. Cronin shaking off the sign. Now he's ready. That's a fair ball. So Perez not only has a hit, maybe extra bases. Kerstad's throw will come into bigger.
Now batting, number 23, Brady Shockey.
That ball hooked right inside third base. Good piece of hitting by Perez. No chance for Martin on that play, and the Trojans with just one out, the runner in scoring position. They're trying to add to that one-run lead right here.
Tell you what, as a third base umpire, you're on scholarship in a four-man crew a lot of times. Marcus Patillo over at third base had about 4 bang-bang plays.
He really has. He's earned his keep today, hasn't he?
Each team has lost a runner at third. There was the line drive and near double play off the bat of Cook. That ball was fair down the line. Here's Shockey. USC has taken this crowd out of the game, and there's not many seats to be had, if any. Cook, one of the few times lets one gets by him. That's a free base.
That could be a really big base right there too. Remember, just one out, so fly ball, scores a run now instead of just leaving the runner at second base. You wonder if USC might try to do a safety squeeze. Arkansas is going to bring the infield in right here. They don't feel like that they can afford to give up another run.
Two 2-0 the count to Shockey, left on left here. The squeeze is on, and Cook can't get there to catch it. Anytime a squeeze bunt is popped up, you know the offensive team is thinking, oh no, but that one just had too much carry.
Yeah, that was a true squeeze. Perez, the runner at third base, broke on the pitch. He's coming down the line. So pretty much anything on the ground is a run in that situation. The safety squeezes till you wait till it gets on the ground.
It's a little bit surprising with the left-handed hitter up there.
Shockey is only hitting 167 on the season, so that may have some logic behind it.
Now the count 2-2. Wild pitch after the double. Put Brandon Perez at third base. That is a long look down to the third base coach's box. Trojans looking to add to a 1-0 lead.
Cronin opponent would love a strikeout in this situation. But you're nervous to throw anything in the dirt. Cody Scroggins in the bullpen for the Hogs warming up.
Michigan get the run home. Kerstead, a long run, makes the catch, and this is the first run scored against Cronin all season. The Trojans lead 2-0, so that wild pitch was huge.
Yeah, it really was, because remember, that runner would have been on second base right there, and he can't advance to third. Definitely can't score in that situation.
Now batting, number 16.
Arkansas kind of gave one away right there.
Jamal O'Gwyn steps in with the bases empty and 2 outs. Strike called. Hogs had not given up an earned run in 32 innings before USC got one in the 6th. Added one here in the 7th. Good curve for a strike. It won't be long. Those shadows will be at home plate in the later innings, and that will not help the team that needs to score. And that right now is the Razorbacks.
That's a good point, because those shadows start getting across home plate. That ball disappears when it goes from sunshine to darkness.
No chase from O'Gwyn. Bats in the A-hole. So Cronin no longer has an ERA of 0. The 1-2 hit sharply. Shaddy from the outfield grass ends the inning. A double, a wild pitch, and a sac fly provides some insurance. We're going to stretch them out here at Baum Stadium and see if the Hogs can find their bats. USC is not a team that's going to provide many free runs with that fielding percentage.
Yeah, it's one of the top in the country. Again, they've only committed 1 error so far this season. And Dan Hubbs talked about it. He said, you know, we made it a big point of emphasis on just, hey, you know what, let's do the little things. Let's just pick the baseball up and throw it. And that's what they've done so far. They're going to radio down you see him on the walkie-talkie radioing down the bullpen, making sure that he's got some arms up there. But Quentin Longree's only thrown, that's going to be his 78th pitch of the game, so he's been extremely economical.
And he worked out of a first and third, nobody out situation last inning. Fletcher's walked and struck out. Easy play for Perez, 1 gone, bottom of the 7th inning.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, number 20.
Hogs have not lost at home this year, 6-0. That's in danger. See who's warming up for the bullpen.
Looks like both guys are ready.
If needed.
They've stopped throwing.
Boy, Longree, once he got out of that 4th inning jam with Shaddy hitting a comebacker to him. There's a chopper to short. Bouchard makes the play.
Couple pitches, couple outs for Longree.
Now
Does not jump the pitch count up much.
Casey Martin.
Shaddy reacted as if he thought maybe Paulson came off the back. I wasn't sure what he was talking with that first base umpire about, but 2 quick outs. Here's Casey Martin.
Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't take till he gets a strike right here. Arkansas needs a base runner. Can't hit a 2-run homer with no one on.
Hawks down to their final 7 outs. Martin singled back in the 5th. He tried to go first to third on a ground out and was erased at third base to end the inning. And there was a double play to end the 6th. No doubt he was taking there. We'll see what he wants to do. 3-1. Longley came into this game. He had allowed 8 earned runs in 9 innings. Looking for 7 scoreless this afternoon. That's ball 4. So the tying run will come to the plate in the presence of Biggers.
Well, Biggers has been Arkansas's hottest hitter. 2 for 3 with 2 singles.
For the Razorbacks, number 9, Jack Biggers.
Yeah, left 6 on base and definitely not doing much with runners in scoring position. 1 for 6. That's not going to win you very many ball games.
Not if you aren't hitting the ball out of the park, which they haven't done obviously today. Hawks came into this game with 97 runs on the season, and I thought it would be a matter of time before they flipped that odometer over to triple digits. Well, today they've been held in check. Jacks will take a strike. 85th pitch of the game upcoming for Quentin Longley. Have to tip your hat to what he's been able to do today.
Yeah, he's been outstanding today. Kept Arkansas off balance, is hitting the spots, moving the ball in and out.
But able to keep the bullpen at bay for the time being. As he tries to get through the bottom of the 7th, maintaining a 2-0 lead. Catches the corner to Bigger. 0-2. This is the case. If Biggers is retired, they might run Longley back out there again in the 8th inning.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. He's under 100 pitches. Hasn't really labored very much. It's not like he's a big power guy. Throws a lot of off speed.
See what Biggers can do down in the count. Able to spit on that pitch. Cole and Kerstad to follow, so certainly you'd like to get some traffic on and see if the Boppers can deliver.
This is token moves over to first base. Casey Martin not going anywhere.
Wave and a miss. Inning over. A walk and a man left, but Longley's done quite a job today.
Well, Quentin Longley pulls the string on Jax Biggers and just throwing blanks to the Hogs.
4. Troy, what jumps out at you?
Well, I'll tell you what, Charleston blanking Georgia 6-0. That's big, and Kentucky continues to roll. Sam Houston's a good ball club. And Auburn's just crushing BYU, 21 runs.
Visitors from Cali have enjoyed this game much more than the Hogs. They lead 2-0 as we go to the 8th. Bouchard, the number 9 hitter, singled in the 6th inning, and he would score the first run of the game. It's a high pop-up. Biggers put it away. So Cronin allowed that inherited runner to score. Then he gave up one of his own in the 7th. That's where we stand, 2-0.
Yeah, that's the difference in this game than yesterday's ball game, is the Trojans have been able to kind of clutch up with guys in scoring position. Yesterday left 8 on base. Today kind of making a few things happen.
Bunt attempt from Sable goes foul.
Don't see that happen very often as a catcher trying to bunt for a hit, but Sable is not your typical catcher. Runs about a 6'7", 60, so he can really scoot down the line.
Cronin gets the strike call. Hawks down to their final 6 outs, trying to keep this at a 2-run deficit, and that one's tomahawked well out of play. Sable was the runner who was cut down at the plate on that throw from Kjerstad. He's cut down on the pitch from Cronin here in the 8th.
If you're a team that wants to try to scratch back into a ball game, it's always nice to go out there and go 1, 2, 3 defensively and then be able to come right back in and hit. Seems like it kind of builds momentum off that success on defense.
Newbar takes strike 1. He has one of the 5 Trojans hits. He doubled in the 4th. Arkansas will have Cole Kjerstad and Bonfield due up in the bottom of the 8th. Cronin's job is to keep this at a 2-run deficit. Curveball misses low. Yesterday was a 4-0 shutout in favor of Arkansas. USC trying to return that favor. Game 2 of this series. This is a no-man's land ground ball. Shaddy hustles and makes the play. He gets Newbar to win the inning. Perfect frame. Hawks need to find their bats coming up in the bottom of the 8th. USC with a 2-0 lead. Big crowd here today. Been waiting to see a run. And they're hoping it comes with Cole Kjerstad and Bonfield in the bottom of the 8th. But Troy, the pitch count's been so economical for Longley all game. He's able to soldier on.
I mean, he may go this whole game if he has a really quick inning right here.
An Arkansas team that entered play today collectively hitting .307 with 16 home runs. He's given up 7 hits, but no runs.
One thing about this Arkansas lineup, they're a team that can score and put crooked numbers up on the board in a hurry. USC and Armenta playing really tight at third base.
Here's Eric Cole.
He is even with the bag there. Anything sharp to his left or right, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot.
We have a few more minutes of reasonable hitting conditions as you see Cole standing in sunshine before it becomes more difficult for the hitters. We'll have to have some super soak on the jersey and pants of Eric Cole in that clubhouse after the game. Outside 2-1.
Well, this is a big batter for the Hogs. They really need to get that leadoff man on and put a little pressure on this Trojan defense.
I think that's exactly it. Just force Longley to work from the stretch, work with runners on base, see if that changes anything. At least deeper into the game. Lifted in the air to left field. Back goes Newbar at the wall. it's going to go! Eric Cole is homered! And the Hogs are on the board.
I'm not sure if that was, Newbar almost went back and kind of put his arms out like, I got it. You know how an outfielder kind of puts his arms out to both sides thinking that ball he's going to get it, but there's a little bit of breeze blowing from the right field foul pole to the left field foul pole. Cole hits a moonshot out the left, but see, oh no, I think he lost it for a second. That's what it was.
You're right.
That ball did not get out by much, and Arkansas needed something good to happen. A home run's a pretty good thing to happen.
And a paid crowd in excess of 13,000 with actual near 11,000 today. Thrilled to see their first run. And here's Kerstad, who doubled into the right field corner an inning ago. He was left at third as the inning ended.
Well, he was trying to tie it up on one swing right there.
Home run number 17 of the season for Arkansas. Ball lifted to right. Shockey was playing deep, so he has to come in and makes the catch, and there's one out.
You're right. Shockey was playing about one step off the track and to come in about 20 steps just to make that catch.
Here comes Dan Hubbs, and with the right-hander Bonfield up now representing the tying run. We'll see if he wants to make a change. 94 pitches into the game for Quentin Longrave. And indeed, we will have a pitching change. A right-hander will be summoned out of the bullpen. The Hogs are on the board. It's a 2-1 game. Trojans in front. Right-hander Brad Wegman summoned from the bullpen. With one out and the bases empty and a run home, replacing Quentin Longrave.
Well, this is why you bring Brad Wegman in. He's a guy that's already gone 7 1/3 innings. Opponents are hitting 0-50 against him. That's pretty impressive.
It is indeed. Coach Hubbs told us that his bullpen has been a huge strength of his team this year. And the Temecula native has been outstanding.
You think about the moves that Dave Van Horn had made already in this game. I forgot about Jared Gates being put in the game to play first base. So I thought, well, why don't they hit Gates for Bonfield right here? But Gates is already in the ballgame.
So Bonfield then Cook here in the bottom of the 8th. Hawks have their first run on the Eric Cole homer. Bonfield's been on all 3 times. 2 singles and a walk.
I think if Bonfield gets on, you pinch run for him right here.
Bonfield homered yesterday in the first inning. Takes one in.
Well, the Trojans are definitely playing no doubles over their head. I think they could all take one step and touch the warning track. Not even sure if Acosta's in the same zip code. He's almost on the other side of the fence out there in center.
Ball's up there a long time for Acosta. And he can't get there. He was playing so deep. That ball is up there forever.
I'm really surprised the shortstop didn't go out there to try to catch that ball, because I'm telling you, Acosta was so far back there. Look how far he has to try to go to get there. I don't know why. He kind of looked down for just a second. But Bonfield hustling, and if you're Arkansas, I think you've got a pinch run for Luke Bonfield out here. And yeah, you're going to get Hunter Wilson is going to come in, but good hustle by Luke Bonfield on a pop-up. He could have easily been frustrated, just trotted down and been standing at first base, but he hustles and gets to second.
Acosta kept waiting for him to either get there because that ball was hit so high, or you're right, have the shortstop Bouchard make the play.
I think Bouchard gave up on it too early, and we got to talk about the wind. The wind just continued to blow that ball back toward the infield.
Grant Cook robbed of an RBI hit his last at bat. Take strike one. 15,000 or so disagree. There's Wilson representing the tying run. If you're Wegman, you're saying, wait a minute, I got a pop-up, and somehow a guy's at second base.
Again, remember, these Trojans really play tight up the middle. Perez swung way around behind second base to keep that runner close. Outfield maybe a couple of steps in from where they were playing.
Cook drives one to left. If it's fair, it's gone. What will the call be? Foul ball. And that one was annihilated. He almost hit that so far beyond the pole, it was tough to tell where it was when it got there.
Cook just hooked that one.
It's a foul ball.
Yeah, just left of the foul pole. After you hit one like that, you're probably going to get something on the outside corner.
Boy, that would have sent shockwaves through this crowd. Cook has one long ball this year for DBH. But you almost need to cash in that gift double from Bonfield. Some way, somehow. Sable setting up way outside, and the pitch almost got the corner.
That's a really good 0-2 pitch right there. He hit the mitt, but the catcher's off the plate. Good no call, but I like the pitch.
No throw to try and get the pinch runner Wilson running for Bonfield. Cook takes right down the middle.
I don't know if he thought he was going to get something off speed right there. That ball's right down the heart.
Number 3.
You got to pull the trigger if you're Grant Cook. Had a really good tail. Not really sure what he was thinking on that pitch.
Good pitch to hit. So now 2 gone, and the batter is Gates.
Now the Trojan outfield's going to take a few extra steps in, trying to cut this runner down at the plate. Wind has really picked up, blowing straight in from right field. Early on this inning, it was barely blowing when Cole hit that home run.
That's down and out, 2-0. Fletcher on deck.
Both Gates and Fletcher have home run hitting power.
And there's the wins. And Coach Hubbs told us earlier this week, this Arkansas team, they're a squad where one swing can change a game. Cook almost did it, but his ball went foul. Just a base hit, though, from Gates could tie things up. Now it's 3-0. Gates has had good swings these last weeks. Do you let him swing away? I mean, base runners aren't as important as trying to get that run in from second here.
Man, I would. I trust my senior. He's a guy that has had really good plate discipline.
like how you think.
Be aggressive.
He gets a fastball over the middle. See if he can do something with it. Didn't matter. Point was moved. Ball was outside. Ball 4 puts Gates on base. So now the go-ahead run is at first. Tying run in scoring position for Dominic Fletcher. And I would be surprised if they don't go get a lefty. But we'll find out. Dominic's 0 for 2 with a walk.
It's a good speed at second with Hunter Wilson. Very average speed at second or below average with Gates. So probably not going to score on a ball in the gap.
2-1 game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fletcher chases.
Good straight changeup by Wegman. Fletcher's been very aggressive and really out on that front foot for about the past 2 weeks.
Start of the season batting third. Today he found himself hitting 7th in the lineup, but comes up in a key position in this game. That looked pretty good.
Fletcher only goes about 5'9", so that might have been a little up in the zone. See if that's going to be above the letters.
Yeah, you're right. And you could even see Sable requesting that pitch be a little bit lower.
Bouchard is really playing up the middle. Huge hole between short and third.
Low again, 2-1.
Almost kind of more like a little league team that really plays at least somebody on defense behind that runner at second base. This outfield's still playing normal depth, even a little bit deeper. They're gonna have a tough time trying to cut a runner down at the plate.
Pick play at second, and Wilson dives back in.
Everybody clap your hands.
It's one of those ones every time a pitcher does that, the dugout for the team on defense kind of holds their breath. You're just hoping they don't throw it into center field.
Big pitch in this game. It was a scoreless contest until USC got a run in the 6th. Added a run in the 7th. Hawks had a couple of golden opportunities to score, but didn't. They finally have their starter Longree out of the game. Cole got the homer to lead things off. Bonfield doubled, but Wilson replaced him at second. Gates walked. And a 2-2 count to Dominic Fletcher.
Look how big that wild pitch was by Matt Cronin. That allowed the runner to get to third base and score. He's at second base. He does not score.
See if the wind pushes this ball into the seats, and it'll make a quick U-turn and be out of play.
Hogs might have gotten a break right there. Fletcher still out in that front foot. I'd almost have to pull a string if I'm Wegman right here. That'd be something down in the dirt.
This is where the sunshine shadows contrast should really favor the pitcher. See Wegman in the sunshine, Fletcher in the shadows, and strike 3 called. 2 Hogs go down looking on fastballs for strikes, and they strand 2 more men. They've left 9 in the game. They did get a run, though, on the Cole home run to make this a 1-run contest.
Well, the Arkansas outfielders have really showed off the arms today. Started off with center fielder Dominic Fletcher, one of the better arms in the country. You see him take a peek and he goes, okay, that guy's going. I'm going to show off my cannon right there. Throw an absolute strike to Casey Martin. That runner's easily out. And this is a big play right here. The base hit, already scored a run, but anytime the outfielder can get to the baseball before the runner gets to third base, they've got a shot at throwing him out, and a great tag by Grant Cook.
That kept the Trojans from getting a second run in the 6th inning. Of course, Arkansas helped them out with a wild pitch in the 7th. That made it a 2-0 game. It's now 2-1 as we go to the 9th inning. Pitch to Acosta is outside 2-0. Arkansas has stranded 9 men in the game, despite hitting into 2 double plays that have erased runners. High, 3-0. Part of the lineup for the Trojans in the top of the 9th inning.
You sure can't walk anybody right here if you're Cronin. Nobody warming up in the bullpen for Arkansas. This is all Matt Cronin right here.
Needed a strike and got one. The crowd today of 13,472, the largest paid crowd in Baum Stadium history. They might go home a little bit disappointed if the Hawks can't rally, and that did not help. A leadoff walk in the 9th.
I'd almost have to guarantee that you do have your 4-hole hitter batting right here, but this is a West Coast team. I'd say I almost have to guarantee they're going to try to bunt him up at some point in this at-bat.
Grant Cook lets that one squirt through. Boy, a wild pitch was costly in the 7th, and a walk and a free base here in the 9th.
That just cannot happen in that situation. It's going to bring out pitching coach Wes Johnson. Not sure if Cook got crossed up on that ball or what.
Wild pitch is how it's scored.
I think if you're the Trojans, you almost have to bunt this guy to third base.
I think so. Got to be some frustration. You've got your best relief pitcher and one of the top catchers in the country, but the wild pitch led to a run in the 7th. And it's given a big boost to the Trojans here in the 9th.
Saw Gates kind of pat Cook on the shoulder saying, hey, it's all right. We'll pick you up. That's a huge run out there at second base. Cronin's got to find a way to strand that runner. Paulson's job is just to get around the baseball. You really don't want to try to hook one, but in this situation, you got to hit something on the ground or at least a fly ball to right field to push that runner up to third base with less than 2 outs.
Paulson is bunting. Bunted it right into the glove of Cook.
Got to think a lot of these guys aren't used to bunting. High school, they're the men. They're the guys driving runs in. They don't get called upon to bunt very often, especially when you're the cleanup 4-hole hitter like Paulson is.
I would say after spending a week on the West Coast, I don't know if it surprises me.
Everybody bunts.
I mean, this is a 2-1 West Coast type game. Trojans had their 7-game win streak snapped yesterday. Would love to even up this series at a game apiece and hand the Hogs their first loss at home this year. USC actually picked 9th in the preseason Pac-12 poll, but there's only 11 teams that play baseball in the Pac-12. Colorado does not field a team.
If I'm Grant Cook and Cronin, I'm throwing Paulson all breaking balls. Much harder pitch to bunt. More of a chance to pop it up.
almost threw that one away.
I don't know how Grant Cook caught that ball. That ball was 4 feet to his left.
Yeah, that was a great effort to lunge, make that catch.
Question is, if there's a fly ball to the outfield, does Acosta tag and try to go to third base?
It's to Fletcher or Kerstead, I might say no. Another bunt attempt and another foul ball. That may have been ball 3. There's your crowd again today. Largest paid crowd in Baum Stadium history.
Amazing what good weather does in a weekend and in a team that, a fan base that's really wanting to see how good these Razorbacks are. But boy, they're got their work cut out for them today with the Trojans.
We were here to see the largest crowd. We just didn't contribute to the pay crowd. 2-2 pitch, foul back. Tomorrow a 12:30 game for the finale. Trying to set a world record for the most softball games in Fayetteville this weekend too. So both teams at home. Cronin needs a strikeout. Almost threw another wild pitch. Just feel like if he could strike out Paulson, he could swing the momentum again back in his favor this inning.
Yeah, I think so. This is the key batter of this inning, and Arkansas only been able to push one across on the solo homer by Eric Cole, so they're not scoring in bunches or even in singles.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Good job by Paulson to spoil it. That may have been a little bit higher than Cronin wanted it. Arkansas is out hit USC 9-5, out homered them 1-0, but they trail by a run. Another 3-2 pitch. And 2 walks this inning. So now you're back in a spot where you'll probably see a bunt attempt.
Barrett Lowski and Cody Scroggins up in the bullpen for the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's going to make a pitching change. Dave Van Horn coming out. Said go get the right-hander. They're both right-handed.
Get
it's
one of them.
Cody Scroggins.
Dave's not terribly happy.
I think he liked the strike zone by Mark Wagers today.
Cronin's day is done. A couple of Trojans on in the 9th. We'll step out. It's 2-1 USC. Right-hander Cody Scroggins summoned from the bullpen with 2 Trojans on base and nobody out in the 9th inning.
Scroggins is a guy that is coming off of Tommy John surgery a season ago. Arkansas lost Scroggins and Keaton McKinney to Tommy John, and both of them are bouncing back. And Cody was a little later in that surgery than McKinney was, so he's back and still throwing hard. He'll run that ball up to 90, 91, 92, kind of that 3/4 arm slot. He's definitely a strikeout guy, only a 2-pitch guy. Doesn't do any change-ups. He's one of those kind of bulldog, played football in high school, and he takes that football mentality to the mound.
Back-to-back walks in this 9th inning before Cronin exited and Scroggins called into the game, 3rd pitcher. Arkansas is used. It's a scoreless game into the 6th inning. Trojans single runs in the 6th and 7th. Hawks got the home run from Eric Cole, the man on the right. in the 8th, but Arkansas has left 9 men on base today.
That's a story. Outstanding job by Quentin Longery, the starting pitcher for the Trojans. He just kept Arkansas off balance just enough.
Batter will be Armenta, and Hawks might talk over the bunting situation. A couple of runners on base.
Now batting for USC, number 9, Angelo.
What you really would like to have happen is Scroggins to be able to field the bunt and go to third and get that lead runner. So this is where Martin and Scroggins have to communicate on where that ball's bunted. If it's bunted down the third baseline, then it's going to have to be Martin.
Armenta already in the front of the box, but he takes a strike. I will go to my grave wondering why people are up there in a no-doubt bunt situation and take a strike.
Right. And that wasn't a bad call either. It wasn't like it was borderline. It was right down the middle.
All you're doing is magnifying the importance of getting a pitch down later on or inviting a breaking ball that you're going to have to bunt. Squaring again. That one's outside.
Jared Gates, the first baseman for the Hogs, he's really cheating in. Always makes you think twice about a left-hander pulling that bat back and taking a swing.
I would agree. Armenta's 0 for 3, and he's hit into a double play. So he is a bunt candidate. Squaring again. Not a good effort. Strike 2.
You make him bunt again?
I think you do.
I
think
do.
sometimes you do out of frustration, right?
Yeah.
You say, listen, this is your job and your role. I'm going to give you 3 shots. You need to get one down.
I still like throwing a breaking ball right here. I'm telling you, guys, all they do is bunt off of fastballs and pitching machines. He never bunt curves.
Corners have backed up. Well, you got the breaking ball, and he wasn't bunting.
Now Arkansas is looking for a double play ground ball
Indeed.
somewhere.
Double play Armenta hit into in the second was a 3-6-1 variety. That was when McFarland was in the game. Big 2-2 pitch. I'm not sure how he hit that one, but he pops it out of play.
That was either he was gonna hit it or he was gonna hit his foot. The ball was right at his front foot. And Armenta is, again, he hit that ball almost behind him. I don't think I've ever seen a guy almost hit it backwards. I think you got to elevate the fastball right here for your Scroggins. Go for the strikeout.
Scroggins trying to win the outcome, the verdict. Wow.
Pretty good pitch by Cody Scroggins. You see, let's see where that ball is. That's a tough pitch to take.
Whew. I think it caught portion of the plate.
Yeah. Got to remember, it's not where he catches it, where it crosses home plate.
Well, now you really don't want to walk a guy. It was up there bunting and was behind in the count. If you're bunting one foul and making it 1 and 2. Long run for Fletcher. Acosta's going to tag. The throw wisely goes in towards second base, and there's Trojans on the corner.
Yeah, it's a smart move by Fletcher. No way to get the runner at third base. Keep the double play in order. Now you got to think what USC is going to try to do here offensively. Are they going to try to start a runner to stay out of the double play. Do a safety squeeze. There's a lot of options you can do right here with one out.
Brandon Perez, the batter, and we started this broadcast talking about him being hit by a pitch. We waited until they were done taking BP to get a lineup. He didn't look so hot throwing the baseball, but in the 7th inning, he doubled with one gone, advanced on the wild pitch, and then scored what is the difference in this game. Front door breaking ball for a strike. In a strikeout situation, you love to get ahead early, but now Scroggins will call Cook out to the mound.
Not sure why Gates is going to go in there. He just wants to hear what's happening. He's probably saying, hey, don't pick over here to first base. You see Gates playing with the glasses on. Those are more the sports glasses than the shades. Sometimes guys sit there, hey, I'm getting a bad reflection off the stands. You never know what he might have told him.
The squeeze is on. Someone has to cover first, and the throw's in time, but not in time back at the plate. Acosta just froze at third, and then he scores.
That's a big run for the Trojans. You see Cody Scroggins looking him back. The hesitation cost him.
Problem was Martin was charging at third, so there's no pump fake that would induce Acosta to go back to third base.
Yeah, and that allowed Acosta to get that huge lead off, so he's probably 10 to 12 feet closer to home plate when Scroggins decides to throw to first base. And it all comes back to a walk.
Yep.
A walk and a wild pitch.
Not out of the woods yet because Paulson's in scoring position for Shockey. Shaddy will handle it, and the inning ends, but the Trojans get a huge insurance run. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Arkansas needs 2 to tie and 3 to win against USC. Here's your comparison today. Razorbacks have the home run. They're hitting 300, but with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, it's not gone their way.
Now, neither team has done very well, but the 1 for 8 is big and left on base. Arkansas has had the guys, the ducks on the pond. They haven't been able to get them in. And then the big right-hander that Dan Hubbs calls on, Connor Lunn. We talked about the batting average from Brad Wegman. Opponent's only hitting 050. Well, not doing much better against Connor Lunn. 063, the batting average against the big right-hander.
That's because he's given up 1 hit in 5 innings. Shaddy steps in 0 for 3 today.
See, Arkansas is going to take till they get a strike right here. Need at least one guy on to hit a 2-run homer.
Dan Hubbs called Connor Lunn fearless. Four saves, trying to pick up his 5th. Shaddy batted with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 4th inning, and on a full count pitch at a comebacker. So tired, the game stayed scoreless. USC finally got on the board in the 7th. Pitch at 93 for a strike. So USC scored single runs in 3 different innings. Hogs got their run on a homer from Cole back of the 8th. So from 2-0 to 2-2. Carlsbad, California native, Connor Lunn. Davis battled back from the 2-0 deficit to get the strikeout to start the bottom of the ninth.
Good location by Lund right there. Rode that fastball up and away from Shaddy. Not going to have any damage done up there. Casey Martin's got to think about maybe trying to do anything he can to get on base right here.
Martin has one of the 9 hits for the Hogs as he takes a strike. Biggers on deck. Cole, if anybody reaches, and again his home run is the lone tally for Arkansas in the game.
You saw Casey Martin was taking his practice swings. The catcher put his hand up in there, and Martin hit his hand on the backswing. Sable has got his paw up there. He's like, hey, keep giving me more signs.
That couldn't feel good. That ball hit a ton to left, but it's trending foul. Hogs have hit a couple of balls on the screws, but haven't kept them between the poles.
See this ball juiced, and everybody's trying to figure out, is that ball going to be fair or foul? Just a long strike.
He's already hit 3 home runs this year, but now he's down 0-2. Not a bad 2-strike miss.
Lund has the velocity. Definitely has the frame of a power pitcher.
Not a lot of crispness on that breaking pitch.
Kind of got around it instead of on top of it, didn't he? It was kind of a show me curve, wasn't it? I've got one, but here comes the fastball.
Back-to-back Ks to start the ninth.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, number 9, Jax Biggers.
And Lund is living up in the strike zone with 2 strikes. Elevates that fastball, and it just kind of explodes right past Martin.
So it's up to Biggers. Jax had singles in his first 2 at-bats, now 2 for 4. Take a couple of base runners to get Kirstead to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth. A little bit out.
You have to think Jax is taken right here.
And Lund recalibrates. 2 balls and a strike. Shadows have completely advanced out past the mound, but even the flag is casting a shadow on the batter's eye in center field. Sharply hit to second. Perez has got it. Game over. The Trojans win it 3-1, and the Hogs, for the first time this year, fall at home.
Well, great pitching performance by the Trojans. Solid defense and just enough timely hitting to get the W. 3-1 against the Hogs.
Drive home safely and until tomorrow afternoon.
So Arkansas